Hello, my name is Crystal, and this is how I spent a couple hours in Ghent, Belgium. So, imagine, to my surprise, seeing a castle right in the middle of the street and eating Belgian waffles while also seeing a bunch of beautiful Baroque style architecture, because one thing about me is that I absolutely love architecture, especially the dark Gothic style. Like, if you know dark academia, aesthetic, things like that, I love that kind of architecture. I also love like the pastels and the flowers and all of that good stuff. But I just greatly enjoyed being in the city of Ghent, honestly, in its natural habitat.
This is Belgium most of the year, this is how it is.
Where it's raining. Even though I do enjoy the sun, I enjoy warm weather, I greatly prefer colder weather. Honestly, I just live in a place that has 4 seasons, and I just prefer the cold because I'm such a winter baby. But anyways, we start off by getting off the bus and we head into the city on a walking tour. We head to this area that has a bunch of graffiti, and apparently, according to our guide, our good friend, our good guide, he said a lot of people would be doing graffiti on the side of the walls in this alleyway, and eventually the city just protected it by law. I have to look into it just to make sure I'm getting my facts straight. But yeah, and it was very interesting. So as we walked through this alleyway down the street, and then there was Gravensteen Castle right in the middle of the street, this huge castle with a bloody historical background. So interesting seeing, because there would be their tram system would be passing by it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there was even a BMW that I saw I've passed. Right behind it was the castle, but I couldn't get a picture in time, and I was like, oh my god. Honestly, I was just admiring the car and how the castle was right behind it, so it's really cool. While our awesome guide was talking about the area, so I'm so sorry, I honestly was not really paying attention. My aunts and mom, of course, they were asking to take pictures. I also want to take pictures, and I was also admiring the castle and the architecture. So then afterwards, he let us go, and then all of us just went on our own. We went inside the Gravenstein Castle because I was like, oh my god, we have to go, and thankfully everyone was on the same page and we all went. But then you had to have tickets, which we didn't have time for because we were there for like, I believe we had 2.5 hours that day or something. Just outside the entrance, I was like, you know what, everyone pose, let's get ready, picture, boom, done. Then we headed out. One of the things that my family wanted to do was to have Belgian waffles in Belgium, of course. So that's what we did. We found a stand and we had waffles right in front of the castle, which was also super cool. But we walked down the street and it was all empty, like things were closed. So then we were like, should we keep going down? Nah, it's not really worth it. So let's just go back. And we went back to the main square, had our waffles. Then we walked down a different street while everyone was still eating. My one aunt and I, we walked over to a souvenir shop because she wanted to buy items for her grandbaby. And she also wanted to get chocolates. So we went into a chocolate shop and got a bunch of delicious chocolates. There was a lot of variety as well. Not everything was made in store, but I actually didn't get to try my chocolates until a couple days later because I was thinking, oh, I want to save it until I get back to the US. But obviously chocolate melts quickly. When I did get to try it, everything did melt together, but it was still so good. So then afterward, we left the souvenir shop. My other aunts and uncle, they came in as well, but then we were like, we're already done here, so let's just go over to the chocolate shop. And then my parents and brother, they were also doing their own thing at a restaurant. They were having burgers and fries. But while my aunt and I finished at the chocolate shop, we walked down a bit more down the street, and it was so much busier in the other street, which I was like where was this the whole time? Like, why did we go down this street? But thankfully we still had plenty of time. So while we were walking around, we went to explore and found one of the buildings that used to be a former church and that was renovated into a store as well as a restaurant, which we went in to go eat. while we called up my aunts and uncle to come join us. So we went in, explored for a bit, and then we headed out. We also had very limited amount of time, so thankfully we were able to order our items. And it was a beautiful restaurant. I really enjoyed being in there. The food was also really good. I got a quiche, as well as it came with a salad and some bread. My aunts and uncle, they ordered a soup. Another one ordered this tuna spread on bread type situation. And then my other aunt, I believe she ordered egg tarts, which was also really good. So that was great. We had to quickly eat, got out of there, and then headed back to the bus, met up with my family. I also remember my aunts decided to go into a freaking chocolate shop, and I'm like, oh my god, like, we don't have time. So I left them because I was like, nah, I'm not gonna be the one that's running late, especially because we have to drive to the next city. So while they were doing that, I just kept walking, and I met up with my family, told the guide that my family went in a chocolate shop, like, so I just left them because I don't want to be late. So went back to fetch them. Eventually we were able to get back onto the bus and had a great time.